Okay, this is a new landlord repair. Got a problem with a tenant where the thermostat is not working. Got no temperature, no blower, no heat, no cool, no nothing. So I've come over to check it out. So that is true, nothing's working here. So my first thought when the thermostat is not on is houses that have what they call a condensate pump. This is the air handler that's inside the closet. And this down here is called your condensate pump. So what this does, because this unit is actually inside the house, the water that comes off your evaporator drains down this tube, goes into this box. Once it gets so high, the pump kicks on, pumps it up this hose up into the plumbing somewhere, out down the drain. Now it's got a safety feature on this. So if by some chance the electric motor on this was to fail, the water would just start pouring out and flood your house. It'd be a real mess. So a safety feature they have is this little safety wire. What this does, there's a second float in here, so if the water level gets up too high, almost to the top, it breaks the connection going to the thermostat, so it just kills the voltage to the thermostat. Thus, your thermostat won't light up, and it won't call for heat, won't call for air, won't call for anything. Everything just dies. So that's the first thing to check. If you look down the hole and you see water way up high, then that's your problem. You drain the water out and things will start working again. Of course, then you got to replace your condensate pump or take it apart, clean it out, and put it back together. I've done that before also. But this is fine. The water's way down there, so that's not my problem. So then I took the panel off to look in here and looked at my circuit board, and lo and behold, sure enough, I got a blowed fuse. So I thought, the fuse is blown, so that's my problem. And so I got my little trusty box here of all my air handler heat pump tools that I keep. And I pulled me out a fuse, and you always want to make sure you go back with the correct fuse. I'm back, sorry about that, got a phone call. So anyway, we was talking about the fuse. You always want to go back with the correct fuse. And these are 5 amp, some are 3 amp. So if you look carefully on the circuit board, if you can see it there anyway, it's got a 5 on there. It just ain't focusing too well. And so, anyway, I pulled out my fuse. Be careful, because everything's still on. Alright, because this is 24 volts on this side. And so I took my fuse a while ago, and I stuck it in there, but as soon as I pushed it in there, I got a big arc. See, I just got a little tiny arc. That's not much. That's okay. That's normal for a 5 amp fuse. But I was getting a huge arc. I thought, well, that's no good. Because I knew if I kept that fuse in there with a big arc that I was getting, it was going to pop that fuse. So then I stopped and said, okay, what's happening? I got another phone call. This time I got my phone in airplane mode, so hopefully that nonsense will stop. Okay, we was talking about the fuse. It's getting arc. And so anyway, I stopped to regroup. I got to thinking, okay, so why am I getting that big arc? So I was checking all my wires around here. All that looks good. Checking everything back on the transformer, and I checked these wires because a couple years ago I installed a new blower motor, because that's for my new wire nuts. You see the new capacitor, new motor I put in. All that was good. So then I got to thinking, because the wires we're dealing with was on the 24 volt side, and the 24 volt side of things is on these smaller wires, like going out to the air handler, the heat pump. I mean, going out to the heat pump outside and going to the thermostat. So I had to try to figure out, so where's my short? Where's the most likely place for a short to take place? And I said, well, most likely outside, because that's where all the weed eating goes on. So I went outside, and I'll show you what I found. Okay, so now I'm outside. Here's the outside unit. And it's late at night, of course. And if you look closely, you see all that shiny copper right there? The insulation has just deteriorated, I guess, just from the sunlight. I mean, it's up high here, away from all the weed eating, but that's nothing but bare copper. All these wires are bare copper. So that's what's happened. These wires got to touching, that's what blew the fuse. That's what's caused the thermostat to go blank and shut all the heat and cooling off. So this is going to be a relatively simple fix. All I got to do, I got plenty of wire. I just got to cut all this off, strip it back, and you reconnect each wire in the same spot. Now you may be wondering, why are these wire nuts so close to the house? When we bought this rental house, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago, it had sat empty for a long time, and somebody came by and stole the heat pump. And when they did, they chopped off the wires right next to the house. So it made it quite interesting getting new wires tapped in there. But luckily we had just enough to get it done. But I will cut these wires back, hook them up, and I'll see what happens. Okay, I stripped back all my wires, just put every color back where it belongs. Everything's nice and neat now, good and tight. Let's walk inside and see if things work. Okay, get our new fuse. Where's the fuse at? Yep, there's new fuse. Oh, a little spark. That's good. It's not real bad. Yeah, that's just a little spark. It's normal. Okay, so let's check the thermostat. And there we go. Now we have a working thermostat. And let's just go fan only. There we go. Fan's on. And let's try to go to air conditioning. Let's go to cool. It's cool. Let's sit down here. Alright. Now let's walk outside. See if we got air. Outside unit running. Okay, it's not on yet. Sometimes they got a delay. Here we go. Hear that? Sound of success. It is now running. All is good. So everything's put back together. All is working good now. And so I make these little videos to help maybe encourage other people to fix their own stuff. You know, once you understand the basics of how things work, you know, you need 24 volts to operate the thermostat. That was the whole problem. The thermostat lost 24 volts. So you got to ask yourself, okay, what's the source of 24 volts? Well, there's a little 24 volt transformer inside here I should have pointed out earlier. And of course then there's a fuse that controls that as a backup. And of course you got that little device down there I explained earlier. So once you understand a little bit of the basics of how these operate, first simple, you know, this is a pretty simple fix and I guess somewhat common. But then you can take care of yourself and again save yourself some money. So I guess this job is over and I'll go back to the house.